Peace, infinite waters diving deep once again. I'm back. Reincarnation. How many of us have coming back to Earth on our wish list? Some people want to come back, some people don't. When we talk of reincarnation and past lives, a lot of us, we have this remembrance of being on this planet. A lot of people have these experiences which just trigger their memory and they realize that they've been here before. And when we talk of reincarnation, what is reincarnation? Well, we can just look at the word itself, incarnation, from the Latin in, into, carn, flesh. So essentially, incarnation is make flesh, to come into flesh in a physical form. So essentially, reincarnation is coming back into flesh. But in my own way of looking at things, for me, reincarnation is re-entering life. It's essentially going back into source. And we are immortal. Energy can't be destroyed, it can only be transferred. So essentially, there is only life. If you walk into nature, look at the flowers blooming. Everything is full of vitality, everything is full of life. So essentially, there is no death in nature. So we are constantly reincarnating. And when we talk of reincarnation, a lot of the old ideas about it have always been that it's something in the past lives, or it's something in the future. So in my mind, reincarnation is happening right now. Everything is happening right now. There is no separation. I call it time continuum. And in the time continuum, essentially, there is only one big moment. And there is no separation because man created time to govern other men. So when we are living in that timeless state, we are essentially creating reincarnation. Every single second we are reincarnating. And we can even tie it into karma. What is karma? Absolute results of absolute actions, absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of the times it's beautiful when people really realize that and really embody that reincarnation is happening right now, that we are living our karma right now. There is no separation. Everything, the three in one, the original Trinity, the past, present, and the future is actually just the one. It's actually all happening simultaneously. In a lot of ancient texts, what happened is that they took away this idea of reincarnation out of these texts. And that's why many people have stopped really remembering that we are reincarnating, because essentially when enough people realize that, then it becomes dangerous, because enough people actually realize that there is no end. People talk of in these ancient texts, the end is near. Things are coming to an end. But in essence, everything is a continuous process. Life itself is a continuous process. And it always has been. And this has been known throughout the ages. For eons, people have realized that essentially we are always reincarnating. And some people say, okay, how come certain people are living certain lives? How come certain people carry certain energies? And that is essentially because we are creating it right now. We are creating even the blood chemistry within our body through our attitude this very second. And certain people on this planet have been blessed with abundance. But essentially, abundance is a state of mind. And that's the difference between someone with a lot and someone with nothing. Of course, a lot of people have done wicked deeds to get them. But essentially in nature, there is no good or bad as we see it. There is only a state of mind. And a lot of the time, when we talk of reincarnation, a lot of times people say, what happens to people who commit murder? What is going to happen to them? But essentially, they are already creating their own karma the moment they commit that crime, because they are breaking universal law. Universal law is the one law which exists, which is fundamental and paramount, is do not kill what you can't create. So someone who has just committed a murder in this carnation in this incarnation. They are already creating a huge debt that they're going to have to face themselves and look in the mirror, and everything in nature essentially is being recorded. Nature is intelligent. It didn't wait for human beings to come along and say, okay, I'm going to start recording things. You know, we have these fancy cameras and we're recording things on your iPhone, on your Canon camera. But essentially, nature has been recording things for eons, and it's recording our actions. Everything we do is being recorded, and therefore we have to face ourselves. I call it energetic signatures. And for me, that's what reincarnation is. Everything we do is being recorded in the form of an energetic signature. A lot of people even talk of our thumbprint being that energetic signature, because everybody's thumbprint is different. So everybody essentially is carrying a different energetic signature. Nobody is seeing this world in the same way. I can look up at the sky and it's beautiful, it's blue, the sun is shining, but someone else could look at that and they can see it in a whole different frequency, a whole different way. And that just shows us that we are incarnating into this dimension, this 3D reality, with information. Male and female is duality, is division, because essentially we exist within each other. Everything is one. So certain people in this journey, in this incarnation, they are male, but at the same time they have also been female in past lives, which essentially is actually only now. So a lot of us, we have been many things. Some of us have been all kinds of different beings on this planet, but when people just constrict themselves to being one gender, I am male. A lot of people are male, but at the same time they have a deeper propensity to that feminine energy, just as you have a lot of women on this planet right now, but at the same time they gravitate to a more yang energy, because essentially from the last incarnation, they were vibrating at that frequency. So essentially we are interchangeable. We are masculine and feminine at the same time, and we have been both. Some of us, we've been mothers, we've been fathers, we've been all of these things, because essentially we embody the totality of life in its fullness. Everyone has a different blueprint. Everyone has a different encoded information they're coming to planet Earth with. And therefore everyone has different lessons to learn here in Earth School. Some people came to this dimension, this turtle island, which Earth is, to work, and to work for the rest of their life. Some people came here to relax. Some people came here just to meet someone. So certain people, a lot of the times we can wonder, why are they born with disabilities and all of these things? But really, life in itself is mysterious. But one way of looking at it is that a lot of things that we see in front of us are beyond our comprehension. And a lot of us, we're seeing it in duality. We're not seeing it in a holistic way. And many of us, we have done many things before, which is only now in essence. We've done many things, and essentially we are coming into this carnation. We're incarnating to experience a different reality. Some people in this incarnation, they've experienced so much abundance, so the next incarnation they can say, okay, let me experience what it's like to go through hardship. Certain people have committed so many acts of violence, and as well they're incarnating to experience what it feels like to be at the receiving end. So that is how reincarnation is tied into everything. Even from the animals we eat, that shows us that reincarnation is in the now. A lot of the animals we eat, people aren't even emotionally ready to kill it, but the energy transfer, once you butcher a cow or a pig in violence, the energy from that meat, from that flesh, is also reincarnating into you. You're becoming that energy. And that's why a lot of people are experiencing a lot of different energies in their body, because essentially they are taking on other people's energies. And when you kill something in violence, you live in violence. You become violence. And that's how reincarnation is tied into it. A lot of us, we are carrying a huge debt. And essentially the only way to free ourselves is to be in that state of non-judgment and not harm anything on this planet. We can also look at reincarnation like this. A lot of people, they see an old person. The ancient phrase, respect your elders, what does it mean? It doesn't just mean respect someone who's 80 years old, because really that's nothing more than a drop in the ocean in eternity. But essentially it means respect your elders, respect nature, because we as children on this planet, nature has been here longer than us. Essentially, we are part of the fabric of everything, but essentially, respect your elders, respect the trees, respect the flowers, respect the waves that you see in the ocean. The sequoia tree, which lives up to over 3,000 years, and some people are 100 years old and they think that's old. There is no time, so essentially there is no age. So when we talk of reincarnation, age is not an indicator of wisdom, because certain people, certain children who are being born, people have talked about them being crystals and indigos, and all of these are just words. But essentially, a lot of children who are coming into this dimension now have information. They are star beings and they have a tremendous amount of wisdom. In essence, they're here to actually teach their parents, because they are coming into this dimension with knowing, not belief. So just like a lot of old people who are still bound by dogma, by religious dogma, by being in an organization all their life, but at the same time they're 90 years old. But this is all they know, so you can't break their programming. So it's just like when people are looking at age as an indicator of wisdom, they're also flawed at the same time, because there is no age, there is only development. There is only our soul journey, there is only evolution. And that's how reincarnation works. You can have a baby, but at the same time, that baby could have the wisdom of an old man. And you can have an old man with the wisdom of someone who is very new to this earth. What we call old souls. And old souls are ones who actually remember they've been in this dimension before, and they're just coming into this dimension just to share with humanity. You also have walk-ins, who essentially people coming into this dimension who they're not even being born as we see it, coming through a womb, they're just incarnating. You know, people have talked about it as being the Immaculate Conception, but there is just so much. Sometimes it's like you have to question the seemingly impossible. We have to realize in this dimension there are so many hidden truths. Many of us have become desensitized. We've become automatons, and therefore we can't actually feel how intricate this world is. People have talked about it as being the convoluted universe. Convoluted essentially is intricate, the intricate universe. So when we look at reincarnation, we have to look at it as happening right now. And because time is an illusion, if you take a watch into an ocean, if you go down and down, the watch breaks, because that just shows us that there is no time. Everything is happening right now, and we are reincarnating. We are, through our thoughts, we are creating our own reality right now. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy, and stay creating your reality, because the power lies within. Peace.